It's Greta Thunberg, obviously. Greta Thunberg is the one that deserves to get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Or Oprah. Hey there, welcome to the Roman Kenric Show. This is the first video in this series where I talk about stuff that's going on, current events and everything. And today we are talking about Justin Trudeau and his resignation, Joe Biden and the Presidential Medal of Freedom that he gave to people and everything. And then also apparently some breaking news happened while I was making this video, or while I was doing research for this video, and it was Joe Biden releasing the terrorists or people from Guantanamo Bay. Biden admin sends 11 Guantanamo detainees to Oman for resettlement. So apparently he's just letting them go. And a lot of people over on X are sad about that. For the Biden Presidential Medal of Freedom, turns out he gave the Medal of Freedom to Palpatine from Star Wars and just all the people. He might as well have given the Presidential Medal of Freedom to the devil himself, according to people over on X.com. So he awarded the Medal of Freedom to a bunch of people like Bono and Denzel Washington, noteworthy one. And the most noteworthy of all of them is probably Hillary Clinton. That one was a big one that a lot of people were upset about. Needless to say, people over on X were really upset about the people who were awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And we all could have assumed, most people could have assumed what it was going to be like. It's just a popularity contest. That's how it is every year and everything. But either way, this is what some people are saying over on X. So there's this really funny tweet that has been going around. It's an AI generated tweet. It's pretty hilarious. Here it is. Americans, they can't stand Hillary Clinton. I'm not a big fan of her. Is she worthy of a Presidential Medal of Freedom? And the thing is that, I mean, if you look in the past and you look at all the other people that were awarded these medals, according to the trend, the patterns of who are awarded these, who are given these awards, then yes, Hillary Clinton is somebody who you could obviously imagine her getting it. I mean, right now, if I could think at the top of my head, like who is somebody that would probably win this medal in the future? Probably, I could imagine somebody like Taylor Swift, honestly. Like if Bono won it, Taylor Swift probably is going to win it, 10 years down the road or something. If we're talking about politicians, I mean, AOC. And I'm not saying these people deserve the Medal of Freedom. In fact, there was a video, I think it was JD Vance. He posted a video of this guy that he saved a couple kids that were in a fire over in Texas. And he said that this person should be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. My bad. It was Donald Trump Jr., not JD Vance. He said, this guy deserves the Presidential Medal of Freedom, not the clowns like Soros and the others who got it from Biden this week. And so this is the video. All right. So they go up to the fence and he's going to be coming out. He's running right there. He's coming out with kids. And that's just it. Now he's down. So that's amazing and really admirable. That's true courage right there. And that's something that I feel like every man wish he had well, obviously you don't want people to be in harm's way and everything, but that's like the ideal. That's what you would imagine yourself doing in one of those situations. And although I agree with Donald Trump Jr. about that being somebody that people should be revering and everything, I don't think that anybody in any administration has given the Presidential Medal of Freedom to somebody, to just a regular average civilian. In fact, that's what the award is for. According to Google, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is the nation's highest civilian honor, presented to individuals who have made exemplary contributions to the prosperity, values, or security of the United States, world peace, or other significant societal, public, or private endeavors. The idea of the award was to give it to somebody who has a large impact on society. You all know what that means. That means it's Greta Thunberg, obviously. Greta Thunberg is the one that deserves to get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Or Oprah. But on a real note, I guess, like if we had to give the Presidential Medal of Freedom to somebody, who would be the best person? And to be honest, most people think of celebrities. And that's just kind of where people's minds go for the most part. I think it's very hard to have an impact, a large impact on a global scale or even a national scale. I think a lot of people live their lives like they think of a figure, somebody like the president or some other large figure in a governing body and they think, oh, this guy's amazing. It's like the same way that people worship some CEOs and everything. But I honestly think that the person that has the biggest impact is going to be somebody on your team. So I think that when you imagine like this one person in this big organization or society or whatever, having this huge amount of impact on people, I guess when it comes to influence and stuff and like making videos and saying things like, for example, Elon Musk can change a lot of things by saying something over on X. He can make a tweet and that could completely change the stock market. So in that regard, yes, that has a huge impact. But as far as the important things, the things that matter in life, I think that the person that has the largest effect is the person who has the best attitude and energy in a team, a small community, whatever you're in. And so if I had to give somebody the Presidential Medal of Freedom, oh man, again, I said Greta Thunberg. Like, who else are we going to give it to, you know? Honestly, there's no other person in 2024 who deserves the Presidential Medal of Freedom other than Greta Thunberg. Obviously, I'm just messing around. I mean, the only aside from Greta Thunberg, I think Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres also deserves to get the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and I guess I don't know, like to go down the list, I'd be Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, KSI, the Haktua girl, you know. that's what my roster would look like for the Presidential Medal of Freedom. People are pissed about that, and it got me curious. I was wondering where the Presidential Medal of Freedom even came from, and apparently it was first started in 1945 by Harry S. Truman. Then it was sort of updated by John F. Kennedy, according to Wikipedia. It was established in 1963 by President John F. Kennedy, superseding the Medal of Freedom that was initially established by President Harry S. Truman in 1945 to honor civilian service. So the main idea of it was to honor civilian service. And so civilians, who is honoring the civilians the most? I think the people who are honoring the civilians the most are the DMV workers, obviously. You know, everybody loves the DMV. I mean, I almost exclusively choose the DMV as the place to spend most of my free time when I'm not at work. Aside from that, I think I probably would want to spend most of my time, the public library, the librarian, man. The librarians, they do a phenomenal amount. They do the work for the people by giving us a place to read books, even though nobody's reading any books. So, but, I mean, the idea of this medal was to be for people serving the civilians. And let me think, if you consider entertainment or like music and movies and actors and everything, if you consider them to be providing a service to civilians, I mean, what is a service to a civilian? I don't think a service to a civilian is one where the civilian has to pay money to get the service. So somebody like Mother Teresa, obviously, she did a good service to the civilians in her time. And all the people that are doing volunteering at the food kitchens and stuff. I mean, the bus drivers, that's a huge service. Being a bus driver is probably one of the worst jobs. When I think about being a bus driver, I think about all the smelly people you have to deal with, the crazy people, the random people getting on fights and everything. And then you have to deal with traffic, especially if you're here in California where I'm at. So the idea was to give a medal to somebody to honor a person who was doing a great service to civilians. I think that maybe we drifted away from that greatly, but that's the best word for that. But apparently John F. Kennedy, the medal, his idea was to create it with distinction. So John F. Kennedy essentially wanted to make it more prestigious. So occasionally the medal award is further denoted as with distinction. There are no specific criteria for receiving the award with distinction. Executive Order 11085 simply specifies that the award should come in 2 degrees, and hence any decision to award the higher degree is entirely at the discretion of the president. They have an example here of President Barack Obama stated that receiving an award with distinction indicates an additional level of veneration. Then it sort of just turns into this thing where it's simply, you know, whoever the president likes and thinks is awesome. If we had to go back to Truman's version of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, who would be selected to even, who would get the medal? If I could think of one person who really is doing a great thing for the United States or even just for the world, again, I think some of the people that make the biggest contributions to society you'll never know. It's the people that are in your neighborhood and the pillars of community that are just, they're there for people. They got a good attitude and they're reliable. Those are the most important people in our communities. I think that on a global level or even a national level, if I had to choose somebody, honestly, Jordan Peterson might be up there. And the reason why I'd put Jordan Peterson up there is because he's helped a lot of young men really get out of depression, and he helped me actually when I was younger. And although there are people that in our society that could be ostracized, so namely the transgender people and everything, a lot of people were upset with him. A lot of the transgender community and the woke left were upset with him because of his whole transgender thing, the thing that propped him up to fame. People say that because he is hurting a class of people, then he's overall not good. That's such a small fraction of our society. The people that Jordan Peterson has ostracized has only been a small percentage. The vast majority of our world are just normal everyday people that aren't really thinking about their gender and they aren't thinking about their sexual orientation. So as far as that goes, he's helped a lot of people. So he would be somebody that I'd put on my list. I think another person that has helped a lot of people, and this is not an endorsement of somebody, like I'm not endorsing everything Jordan Peterson says, nor am I endorsing everything Jordan Peterson has done or will do. And I think that's one of the things about these kinds of awards. When you award people, when you endorse people, people will look at it as though this is an endorsement of that person fully through and through. And I don't think you can ever do that. Human beings, no human being is perfect. And so again, like it said in the Bible, no idols. So don't have any idols. I would still award Jordan Peterson that with that little asterisk of what I just said a moment ago. And I think another person aside from that would be, I have some newer philosophers that I really enjoyed listening to, like Alan Watts and J. Krishnamurti. So I would give it to those people. But if you had to give one person the Presidential Medal of Freedom or the Civilian Medal of Honor, let's call it that, the Civilian Medal of Honor. If you had to give one person that, a person of notoriety, who would it be? And you can't say Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because that's mine. Obviously, I just said it a moment ago. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the one that I choose, and you can't choose Greta Thunberg. So just who would you choose if you had to choose one person to give the Civilian Medal of Honor? And that's what I'm calling it instead of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And then I'll roast you depending on who it is. Because, Justin Trudeau, he just resigned, and, when somebody resigns, they're already going through a rough time, so I might as well just throw him a Medal of Honor. That's the way Joe Biden's doing it. He's just throwing it willy-nilly, giving it to anybody and everybody, like you get a Medal of Honor, you get a Medal of Honor, just like Oprah. So Oprah gets a Medal of Honor. A little funny thing about people that were given the Presidential Medal of Freedom, apparently the culinary dude, Jose Iglesias or Iglesias or something, Ricky Iglesias, Jose something. It's Jose Andres. Apparently that dude was photographed with the dude who tried to assassinate Donald Trump. So this dude over on X, he posted this. He said, a guy, and I've been saying dude a lot, so I'm going to relax on the dude, but he said, a guy who was photographed with the attempted Trump assassin just received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And that's true. Here's the photo. That's kind of funny. It's kind of weird. What's that all about? Here's this other tweet. All right, this guy on X says, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is just an Epstein Island lifetime membership award at this point. And he has a photo of Hillary, Nancy Pelosi, and all the people, Ellen DeGeneres. And I forget that guy's name. What? Wilson! That's all I remember. Hank. Yeah, Hank Hill? It's not Hank Hill. It's I haven't watched TV in a while. I try to stay away from all of the mainstream media and everything, so I forget a lot of the celebrities' name. It's Hank something. Tom Hanks. That is his name. It is not Hank Hill. I don't know why the heck I couldn't remember his name. It's a good thing I can't remember his name, though. The next thing that is going on is Justin Trudeau resigning. And a lot of people say that he resigned because he is gay or something. No, it's not because he's gay, but people were saying that he resigned because he just didn't think he was going to win or something. And then when I started looking over on the Canadian subreddit, people were saying that he didn't resign because of his party not doing a good job there was some infighting in the Liberal Party over in Canada and the likelihood of them winning because of an extreme right boiling up in Canada because of how long Justin Trudeau has been leading the country, or not leading the country or whatever. So the people over in the Canadian subreddit are saying that's why he's leaving, because of the infighting in the party. And so a lot of people are happy. There was a lot of memes over on X, and that's what you would expect. I don't know too much about the policies of Justin Trudeau. I do know that there were a lot of people upset, and the way Canada is run, I live in California. I don't really like how California is run. My experience with liberal-led states has been lackluster, not good, and I'm not really happy with it, especially with all the homelessness over in San Francisco and everything. As far as Justin Trudeau goes, I don't think he's a good leader at all. Is it a good thing that he's resigning? Yes, probably. In the whole grand scheme of things, does it really matter? Probably not, because who knows? Like, I feel like Canada's doomed anyways. It's just gone. If you think of the whole globalist stuff and the World Economic Forum and the idea of creating a one world government and a one world everything, like Canada's already compromised. It's gone. Most of the countries are compromised and gone in the West. I think the United States is probably one of the last frontiers, or not frontiers, but one of the last hope for keeping a republic and a place where they could be sort of true freedom. Apparently, Joe Biden is trying to wreak as much havoc as he can before January 20th, when he leaves and Donald Trump comes in. According to a lot of people, when it comes down to who he decided to give the Medal of Freedom to, the Presidential Medal of Freedom to, and then also this new thing that just happened today on January 6th, he released 11 Yemeni detainees from the controversial naval base at Guantanamo Bay. He released them without charge, and a lot of people are saying this is ridiculous. There's some people over on this subreddit, on this political subreddit, that I decided to just check out when I was doing research for this. They said that this is a win because Joe Biden is trying to get rid of Guantanamo Bay or whatever. People over on X are upset because they're saying that Joe Biden just released a bunch of terrorists and people who did 9/11. Anybody who does any form of terror act obviously should be in prison. Well, I think they should just be killed, honestly. I think they should get the death penalty. That's what I would do. But as far as this decision, apparently Joe Biden is trying to just get rid of Guantanamo Bay, finally close it down. So I guess the people over on the subreddit were right. What makes Guantanamo Bay so bad? I mean, I think prisons are ridiculous. For the most part, I don't really understand prisons. I think most people should be just executed, honestly. Obviously not nonviolent crimes. If somebody's nonviolent, I think prisons are best for people that, again, are just nonviolent and need some sort of rehabilitation. So people who do theft, selling drugs, and all those other kinds of things. But people who do terror acts, they for sure should just be eliminated for the most part. But apparently there are some people that didn't get charges for a while. So only 7 of them. So 7 have been charged with war crimes, and then 6 have still never been charged. And so these are the people that are going to the place, Oman. I'm not sure if it's Oman, but apparently they're going to Oman to get some sort of rehabilitation. And I'm not sure what that means. Maybe they're going to go make the next iPhone 17 or 18 for us. So, well, I guess that's in China. So they're probably not going to be making the iPhone, but they'll be making something for us. Overall, do I think the shutting down of Guantanamo Bay is a good thing? I'm actually not sure. I'm not an expert on that. I don't really know. I heard about it a lot when I was younger, when I was graduating from high school and going into college, and I heard a lot of bad things about Guantanamo Bay. The thing about Guantanamo Bay, it gets a little bit more complex than just deciding, like, when it comes to people who fight a country that stands for freedom, a country that fights for freedom, when it comes to that, and when it comes to people committing acts of terror on that country, do these people deserve, or do they even get the rights that we get here in this country? And this is something that I thought about for a very long time when it comes to, let's say you have a community of people, or even just your household. And in your household or your community, you guys follow a set of values, rules, and you guys have your own tenets and everything. And everybody is fighting and working together for a way of living. And then if these people on the outside who don't respect those values or way of living, if they come into this community, so I'm not doing any graphics or anything. So if they come into this community with the values, let's say their supreme values, their better values, where the people in the community are living better, and let's say these people go into this community, should this community automatically give the people from this other community these rights just because? And I don't think that that's always the case. Is there something sketchy with Guantanamo Bay? I mean, there could be. If the U.S. military was trying to find the perfect place where this prison can essentially operate freely without any sort of law from the United States or international law so that they don't have to follow human rights, then yes, that could get sketchy. And the thing is, the reason why our founding fathers wanted to have a judicial system where it was innocent until proven guilty is because obviously people can be convicted as guilty even though they're innocent. And that happens all the time in the United States. Even though we have human rights here, it still happens. So the whole idea is to minimize that as much as possible because obviously you don't want somebody who is innocent to suffer. You want the person who committed the horrendous act to bear the responsibility of that. You want them to experience the suffering that comes from being in a prison such as Guantanamo Bay. So the people who are upset, they're probably most likely upset with the idea of innocent people having to live in horrible conditions. But if they weren't innocent and if they were the ones that committed these horrendous acts, well then I don't really care how bad the prison is. But I mean, we don't know, and I don't know, and I don't think anybody really does know unless you're close to the action, unless you're an insider who knows the truth and what's going on. None of us can really know. So apparently that's the reason why Joe Biden did that. Make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button, and then just click all the buttons, go to your keyboard and just start clicking random keyboards and everything. And then you could backspace, forward space, or whatever. But if you like this kind of content, and if you like hanging around me and everything, then I look forward to having you come back.